A well-designed state is able to exist in a volatile setting. Society is a force of pressure and tension. A strong state must be flexible. It must not be weakened and broken by that pressure and tension. It must not crumble before it evolves. If a political system wants to preserve its legitimacy and survive, it must create avenues for its own modification. All political systems that resist modification will inevitably crumble under tension. A political system must have mechanisms by which it can be modified efficiently while maintaining legitimacy, order, and credibility. That is what it must do. We live in an increasingly volatile world. States are exposed to increasingly challenging and dynamic conditions. Things can change very quickly. A new struggle is always around the corner. In the years to come, we will face problems that we cannot imagine today. Society is many things, but it is far from stagnant. And so the state must be able to modify itself substantially, to change and evolve, and to do so while maintaining order, legitimacy, and credibility. If the state cannot do these things, it will crumble under the pressures of this world. A good political system includes mechanisms for its own modification. Otherwise, it is not a serious political system, but instead simply a structure of stagnation. A structure that freezes society in time and prevents it from responding to the pressures that demand modifications and alterations. A structure that makes suffering and collapse inevitable. There is only one avenue by which states can be modified and evolved effectively while maintaining order and stability. Democracy. Because in a democracy, change and modification is a necessity. It is not a threat to power, but a way of attaining it. Only democracy creates avenues for the kind of state modifications that are required. Democracy has many advantages. Power will always be passed from one set of hands to another. Only democracy allows for a peaceful transition of power. Power will always shift from one group to another. It can either do so at the ballot box or on the battlefield. Only democracy caters to the political realities of this world, the necessity for constant modifications and endless new ideas, the necessity for a transition of power. These things are political necessities. They always have been and always will be. Only democracy effectively deals with them. Democracy is not simply an ideal. Democracy is a realistic and practical form of government. Democracy is an acceptance of the political reality. Non-democratic governance is a denial of the political reality. A refusal to accept the fact that a transition of power, competing ideas, and constantly changing governments are an inevitable reality. A reality that creates bloodshed, chaos, and conflict in a dictatorship. A reality that is peaceful, efficient, and orderly in a democracy. Democracy is the only realistic and pragmatic model of government.